We've come out to the Aussie bush on this warm summer day to test out 3 company wagons. We've got the VX Landcruiser 300 series fully decked out. We've got the Jeep Grand Cherokee Overland, real swish, and the Ford Everest Platinum, top of the range. Now all these vehicles are modified, set up for camping, overlanding. We're gonna take them off-road and test them out. Let's get going. So we're out in the 300 series Landcruiser, which, mate, fantastic vehicle. Now, we had to do a few mods to the vehicle to really get it to where we wanted to go. So first up, Offroad Animal bar work. So we have the Toro bar on this one with the brush rails, the rock sliders, a rear bar, the roof rack, as well as a ladder on the back. So really makes it easy for camping, protecting the vehicle. So when we're doing the tracks, you don't have to worry too much about damaging the vehicle. So on top of that, we've got a bit of a lift in it. So we put a 2-inch lift in with King's racing shocks in it. And I'll tell you what, they're not cheap, but they're worth every cent. This car just rides like a dream, always keeping its wheels on the ground. So when you're doing the tracks, you don't have to worry about popping the wheel up nearly as much. Also, the 300 series is quite capable with the amount of wheel travel that it has. So we weren't quite happy with just the crawl control in the vehicle. So on the really tough tracks, it struggles a little bit. So we opted to put some aftermarket air lockers in. So we have air lockers front and back, which really transform this vehicle off-road. So little extra bits like the Molly panel on the side, the accessory panel we have. Some tires, we put some 34s on there. So 295 70 17s on some Dirty Life wheels. Really give it that look. They're a 0 offset, and put some flares on to cover them up. And look, vehicle is just fantastic. I really do like this 300 series. On-road, off-road, it's a great vehicle. So we're just gonna hit a few more tracks and really test it out some more.
All right, so we're in the Everest Platinum now, just heading down to the next track. Thought we'd give you a bit of a run over of the mods that we've done to it and what improvements they'll make to the car. Up the front, we've got an Offroad Animal Predator bull bar with rally hoop for the lights. So that mounts the 2 9-inch arse kicker lights, which gives a great forward visibility. The winch is also mounted in the Predator bull bar, which gives us the option to self-recover if we need to. The bull bar also comes with rated tow points, which is useful for recoveries. Moving back, we have Offroad Animal welded steel rock sliders. These are great to protect the sill of the vehicle from obstacles off-road. Up on the roof, we have a Scout roof rack, which is a great practical option for taking extra gear. So that's it for the Offroad Animal accessories. We've also done to the vehicle is put a 2-inch suspension lift, just give a little bit more clearance, and 285 70 17 mud terrain tyres, which gives you extra grip off-road. And they're honestly not that bad on-road either with modern mud terrain tyres these days. So that wraps up the mods that we've done to our Everest Platinum. As you can see, it's turned it into a bit of a weapon off-road, but it's also something smooth and practical and that you'd be happy to use every day as a daily driver. It really is the complete package.
We are taking the Grand Cherokee off-road. This car is definitely the odd one out of the 3 we've brought on this trip. It's the only one that comes with air suspension. So what that means is we can give it a lift basically when we're going off-road, we can raise it. And then when we're back on the road, we can lower it back to a normal height We've done some further mods on top of this. What we've actually done is it's really basically a $10 lift kit on top of the factory S suspension. You can get these little suspension linkages that attach to the height sensors, the suspension, and basically we can get an extra 20-30 mil lift just by making the sensors think the car's a bit lower, so it'll just raise it a bit more. In terms of other modifications that we've done to help this thing off-road, now the main centerpiece is of course that front Predator bar. Offers plenty of protection. You can add your lights, your winch, everything you need for going off-road and making sure you don't get stuck. Another key critical thing that we've done for four-wheel drive protection is our rock sliders. These bolt straight onto the sills of this car. This one being a monocoque chassis, it's quite easy for there to be a bit of flex. We've actually seen and heard reports of other people where they can't actually get the doors open when they're off-road because the chassis got just that little bit of flex. These sliders help reinforce that, and of course if you're crawling over some rocks, anything like that, you're going to be well protected on your sills. And the last thing we've done more for touring rather than four-wheel drive protection is obviously the roof rack up top. We have quite an interesting system where it bolts and clamps onto the roof. We're able to achieve much higher load rating than what Jeep factory roof rails will be able to achieve. So yeah, our roof rack, you'll be able to take awnings, rooftop tents, everything you need when you want to go touring. And with all these modifications, it definitely feels comfortable off-road, like with the tires, with the suspension that we've done, factory traction control systems, all those smart, intelligent rock crawl modes, they definitely help the car overcome any lack of other diff locks and other tech.
Come up to a steep climb, it's time to test out the vehicles. This little rocky section here is a bit gnarly. I don't know if we're all gonna make it. So we've got the Everest with the factory rear locker and 33s. Might just do it. Now the VX Landcruiser doesn't have lockers standard, but we put aftermarket dual lockers in, so I think it's actually gonna climb it pretty easy with some 295 tires, so a little bigger than the Everest. Behind that, the Jeep. No lockers, not even the factory LSD, because we got sucker punched here in Australia, and all we have is brake traction control with Quadra-Track 2. I don't know if it's going to do it, especially with the smaller tires. Who knows? Leon might just drive out of it with a big wheel lift. It's going to be exciting. Let's get going. Not a problem, made it up easy. All right, he's doing well. He's got it at its higher suspension setting and looks like it's gonna make it not too bad. All right, good job, Jeep. So we've hit the tracks all day, and I'm sitting here with Chris and Leon, two design engineers from Offroad Animal. Now we've had these three wagons in our fleet for a while, so we feel like we're justified in talking about them as they go on and off-road. First of all, Chris, tell us, what do you think about the Everest and its on-road performance?
I am quite a fan of the Everest on-road. For its size, it handles very nicely. It's got a reasonably good ride quality, but not too much body roll. Is easy to place in the corners. It's good in urban settings as well. It's not too big, easy to maneuver and park.
It's got a lot of nice tech too.
A lot of nice tech to help out with the parking, the 360 camera, sensors front and back. And the tech's really well integrated. The advanced driver assist features such as the lane keeping and adaptive cruise control all work really intuitively, and they don't disrupt you at all.
Ford's
when you're
really
driving.
nailed it.
Yeah,
haven't they?
the calibration, that's all spot on. And yeah, it's a car I'm very happy to drive day in, day out.
Now, the Grand Cherokee, not a common one that we see on the roads in Australia, especially in the WL version, which is the new one. However, it's really nice on road, isn't it, Leon?
Yeah, it definitely surprises. Like sitting inside, you feel like you're in a luxury SUV, which it almost kind of is given its price point. It's got all the bells and whistles and a bit more compared to the Everest. You got things like massage seats, cooled seats, heated steering wheel, a bit of everything. And it's also the only car here that's running air suspension, which means you can lower, raise the car for various different scenarios. So on the road, you can run it at a normal height. You don't have to run it at a lifted 2-inch lift or anything like that. So the handling feels more like a normal road car when you're just driving around the city.
Well, no massage seats in my Landcruiser here. So Landcruiser is a fantastic vehicle on road. I really like the setup. It's comfortable, the size is perfect, the kids all fit in the back. We got the drawer set up in the back, so for camping it's really good. But specifically talking on road, the 300 series, a lot of power, a lot of torque, super comfortable. Everything's where you want it. Like the layout of the interior, I really, really enjoy. The only thing I would probably change, I would add a volume knob. I hate that there's no volume knob. And I think the safety features with the lane keeping is actually kind of dangerous and really kind of throws you in with the brakes. I don't like that. The Ford's got that a lot better. But as it day-to-day going around town, it's really, really nice. Now, off-road, Chris, the Everest really did well today, didn't it?
Yeah, the Everest is a bit of a dark horse off-road. It's definitely got the capability you need to get you just about anywhere you want to go. It comes standard with a rear differential lock, as well as the fact that it's got the option to run the transfer case in both part-time and a automatic mode. So on a gravel road, you can also run it in four-wheel drive. So that really helps get the power from the big turbo V6 down. What it lacks in the suspension articulation compared to the 300, that cross-axle lock and well-calibrated traction control help keep it going in the right direction and it gets everywhere you need to get it.
Well, definitely didn't struggle today, that's for sure. Now, Leon, again, Grand Cherokee, I mean, not many Aussies would see the Grand Cherokee off-road. What do you think? How did it handle?
Yeah, the Grand Cherokee's, definitely a different car to all these other ones. It's the only one that's a monocoque chassis. It's the only one with a petrol engine. On paper, it's actually, you'd think it's not that good off-road. It doesn't come with diff locks. The torque is pretty much half what the other two cars have. But everything we've done today, it's been able to handle. So at the end of the day, it's still a pretty capable car off-road.
I agree. You know, it impressed me today. Some of those tracks, I didn't think it would do it. It still managed with ease. Now, the 300 series, look, they call it the king of off-road. Is it the king of off-road? Look, we kind of cheated because we put dual lockers in it. Because the VX actually doesn't come with lockers, which I find surprising considering a lot of the other vehicles come standard with lockers. Much, much cheaper vehicles come with lockers standard. So the crawl control is pretty nice. It does a good job. But for me, nothing beats cross-axle lockers. So we've got aftermarket lockers in there, which really help it, as well as a king suspension, which really kill it. So in stock form, yes, the 300 series is probably the best here when it comes to off-roading. But with what we've done to it, you can't beat it off-road. Yeah, clearly, it is the best off-road.
And it does keep its wheels on the ground the best. Like definitely suspension
travel,
articulation.
And
it's by far of the three, it's the best of the lot.
That's right. And plenty of power, plenty of torque to boot. Really, really kills it. Okay, so on-road, off-road, yes. What about value for money? Chris, value for money, what do you think? Everest?
It's got to be the Everest. For what you'd pay for the 300 series on the road, you could buy the Everest Platinum and modify it with pretty much exactly the same gear we have on ours, and you'd still have change left over.
Yeah, fantastic. And the Grand Cherokee, it's not a cheap one, is it?
Yeah, this particular spec that we have, it's the Overland. It's the second highest, I believe, in Australia. And yeah, it's bordering on Landcruiser price. So it's well more than what the Everest is. So in terms of value for money, I can't really commend on that.
I agree with that. V6 motor is just not quite as nice as the other diesel ones.
Yeah.
Look, the Landcruiser, if you can afford it, great. It is an expensive car, but you get a lot for your money, a well-built vehicle. Now, I mean, we pull vehicles apart all the time. We do bull bars for them, so we know how well put together the 300 series is. But it is a lot of money to dish out. So if you can afford it, great. But when it comes to value for money, I don't know. Okay, last up, your hard-earned, what would you pick? Chris?
Everest every day of the week. It's a great daily driver. It's a car that you get on with. It works well day to day, and it can take you to some amazing places all over Australia. And for what you pay for the 300, you can have a fully decked out Everest and the money to go on those big trips and really get out there and enjoy it. So Everest every day of the week for me.
Got it. Leon, what about for you? What would you spend your hard-earned on?
Money wasn't an issue. 300 series. It's definitely the best of the best. But yeah, if you are on a bit of a budget, yeah, the Everest is way better value than the other two that we have on hand here.
Yep, I agree. Yep. For me, comes down to the money. If you can afford it, get the Landcruiser, especially the GR Sport or even the VX, and you can spend a little bit more on. But if money is a little bit of an issue for you, I'd have to pick the Everest. Sorry, Jeep, you missed out this time. Great vehicle. Look, when it comes to me, on-road, Jeep, overall, probably Landcruiser. Value for money, Everest. Look, that pretty much wraps it up. We thank you for watching. It's been great fun taking these vehicles off-road. I've had a great time watching with my buddies go over the tracks. It's been a fun time. Really, thank you for enjoying. Catch you next time.